Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsha Rishibhyo Namo Gurubhyaha. So we were looking at the 15th Vakya in this Swam Jyotir Brahmanam. We finished the Bhashya of that also. So in the 15th, if you see here, the very important quotation is there, Asango hi ayam Purushaha. So this person, Purusha, who is the one who is obtaining in this Deha, correct? The Dehi is really unattached to anything. Okay. So the Purusha is shown as unattached, particularly in the dream here. And that is said also by this Drishtva eva, having seen alone, not doing anything really. In the dream, you are just experiencing pleasant or unpleasant experiences. And then you go into sleep. Now you do not carry any of that into sleep, or even if you wake up from dream, you do not carry any of that. That is what was said with the Ananvagataha, like that by this word. Means nothing, you are not taking anything back with you from that state to the other state wherever you go. And this itself shows that the Purusha did not do anything really in dream. Even whatever you have done, nobody takes it that you have done it really, correct? Even if you have done a crime in the dream, it is not taken as such. Therefore, you are asangaha, you are unattached to any karma, anything like that. Now, having heard this, that Yajnavalkya understood that in dream, this Atma is asangaha, not touched by anything, whatever which happened in the dream. And for that only he gives 1,000 cows again. So, Soham Bhagavate Sahasram Dadami. But he says, Ata Urdhvam Vimokshaya Bruhi again. For my moksha, for the sake of my moksha, further you teach me. Because he still has a Shanka with reference to the waking state, correct? Now, that is what the Shruti is going to take up now. Okay. So even up to this also, Bhashyakar also says, Moksha Padartha Ekadeshasya Karma Pravivekasya Samyak Darshitatvat. So for what purpose did he give these 1,000 cows? To show for the purpose of moksha only, but it was still only a portion of teaching was there, that one does not do any karma in dream and one is unattached by whatever is happening there. Now, after dream, what happens? That is what is now said in this 16th Vakya. Sava yesha etasmin swapne ratva charitva drishtva eva punyancha papamcha punah pratinyayam pratiyonyadravati buddhantaya eva. So, in fact, all these words are again a repeat from the previous. The meaning is the same, correct? So, having roamed around and enjoyed in the dream, but there in the dream you are only seeing whatever is there. You are experiencing both punya phala and papa phala, and then you come back in the inverse order. Pratinyayam, prati yoni adravati buddhantaya. But here it is buddhanta, means there in the previous we said that from dream he went into the deep sleep, samprasadaya. Then again from samprasada he came back to dream. We have to assume, and then from dream again now he is coming back to the waking. Buddhantaya means this waking state, Jagrat. And then the Upanishad says, Sayat tatra kinchit pashyati ananvagataha tena bhavati asangaha hi ayam purushaha iti evam yetad yajnavalkya soham bhagavate sahasram dadami ata urdhvam vimokshaya eva bruhiti. So again, Yajnavalkya is showing here that having come back to the waking, one does not carry anything from the swapna, correct? Already it was said here also, but there basically you went into the deep sleep and again you come back to the swapna, it was said here. So when you went into the deep sleep also, you did not carry anything from the swapna. And similarly, from swapna to waking, when you have come here also, you are not really carrying anything along with you. Nothing comes along with you. That's why ananvagataha. So whatever you saw there, it is there only. It remains in that state. It does not come back with you. Therefore, you are unattached, untouched by all that, unconnected, unrelated. All these words you can use. Asangaha hi ayam purushaha iti evam. So again, having heard this, Yajnavalkya is giving another 1,000 cows. Okay. Soham bhagavate sahasram dadami ata urdhvam vimokshaya eva bruhi. So now Bhashyakara in the Bhashya just puts a Purva Paksha and tries to answer. So Tatra Asangaha hi ayam purushaha was already said in the previous, correct? 4.3.15. Iti Asangata Akartritve hetuhu uktaha. Akartritve means you are not really doing anything, correct? That's why the Upanishad also says Drishtva eva. Only you are experiencing, you are seeing, you are not actually doing anything there. So that was the hetu for that you are an akarta. But it was also said, correct? Uktam cha purvam. So previously it was also said what? Karma vashat sa iyate yatra kamamiti. So as he decided, he goes wherever he wants due to his karma, correct? It was said before. Okay. I think it was said even before this, but it is there. We remember this. Karma vashat, only due to karma, that one goes wherever one, even whatever is you are experiencing in the dream also, we also said that it is due to karma only. But you are only experiencing the results of your karma. That is also understood by this punyam cha papam cha, correct? Punya papa also is basically the karma phala only. So you are still subjected to karma and you are experiencing the results of karma. Okay, but you may not be doing anything in the dream itself, which is okay. So, but karma vasha is still there, correct? Karma vashat sa iyate yatra kama means as per his kama desire, he goes wherever in the dream. But kama itself is a sangha. You are attached to your desire, correct? You are connected to desire means kamascha sangaha, Purvapakshi is saying, ataha asiddhaha hetuhu uktaha. So your hetu of saying akarta, akartritvam will lead to asangatvam is not true because even though you are akarta, you have karma vasha also. Again, you go wherever according to your desire due to your karma means this karma also you are connected to. You are connected to karma and kama. Therefore, your hetu is not correct. Means this whatever hetu for your inference you use, it does not always lead to the fact that one is asanga. Like this, you can say hetu asiddhaha, we say, correct? In fact, in the Nyaya Shastra, there are many types of defects in inference. In that hetwa bhasa, it is said, means incorrect inference when we do, many times the hetu which you give for inferring something itself is wrong. Again, there can be many reasons for that. So here he says the hetu itself is asiddhaha here. It doesn't establish the whatever inference you are arriving at, which is what asangohi ayam purushaha iti. So from akarta, you cannot arrive at asanga. Now Bhashyakara answers, Natu etat asti. No, it is not like that. Why? Katham tarhi? How is it that? Means asangaha eva iti etad uchyate. It is asanga only, he says. Okay. Sava yesha etasmin swapne savai yesha purushaha samprasadat pratyagataha swapne ratva charitva yatha kamam drishtva punyancha papamcha iti sarvam purvavate. So Even though you can raise a doubt like that, the Upanishad is very clear that you are not really associated with anything, because whatever happens in the dream state, it remains there. Whether you go from dream to sleep, you may come back from sleep to dream again, and again you come out of the dream into waking, let us say. How many ever times you go into the dream, whatever you do there, whether you enjoy something, you roam around according to your desires, let us say, and also you are just experiencing the punya phala, papa phala, all this. In fact, the explanation for this was given in the previous 15th itself. So, iti sarvam purvavati, he says. Whatever explanation we gave for this, you have to take, but the only difference here is buddhantaya eva, means jagarita sthanaya, means now the Upanishad is talking about that you come back into the waking. So, in the waking also, once you come back from the dream, you don't really carry anything from the dream. So, at least with reference to whatever which happened in the dream, you are asangaha, you are unattached. Tasmat asangaha eva ayam purushaha यदि स्वप्ने संगवान स्यात् कामी ततः तत्संगजैः दोषैः बुद्धांताय प्रत्यागतः लिप्येत. So the reason we give is that if you are actually a sangavan and you are in touch with your desires in the swapna, then whatever doshas which can come from that, correct, they have to continue into waking also. If you are really connected to your kamas, understand that if it is part of your very nature, you cannot leave it back in that state and come out. Understand that. It will continue along with you. That is what is called anvagata. Anuagataha means it comes along with you. Something, if it comes along with you across different states of experience, that alone is your true nature. Whatever comes and goes, whatever is transient cannot be your true nature, or you cannot be connected to that really. So here, the only thing like that is that you are Chaitanya Swarupa. You are the one who is lighting up. Whether anything is there to be lighted up or not, whether you are lighting up the waking world, whether you are lighting up the dream world, and you don't light up anything because there is nothing to be lighted up in the deep sleep. The only thing which is the constant is that you are a conscious being to whom everything becomes evident. If something is there, then that becomes evident to you. In your light only everything shines. That alone is the truth. Otherwise, you don't really carry anything along with you across these states. So, tat sangajaihi doshaihi buddhantaya pratyagataha means what? And lipyeta means it should come along with you to the waking also, and you will be then lipyeta means what? You will be connected to that. Right? You will be tainted by that and all, you can say, if you want. But that is not so. But even then, the doubt is there. Okay, what about the Jagrat? See, yatha asau swapne asangatvat swapna prasangajaihi doshaihi jagarate pratyagataha na lipyate evam jagarita sangajaihi api doshaihi na lipyate eva buddhante tadetad uchyate. So, now Bhashyakara is saying, like how whatever this whatever happened in the dream state, and in that, of course, you thought that you are a doer, karta, bhokta and all that while the dream is happening. But none of that is coming along with you to the waking state. So once you come back to the waking state, you know that you are not in any way connected to that. Similarly, he says, the Upanishad wants to show you with reference to waking also. So jagarita sangajaihi doshaihi na lipyate eva buddhante. So even in the waking state also, whatever you think you are a karta bhokta in the waking, correct? Even that is not true. Actually, the Atma is asangaha. In all the states, you are really asanga only. That is the paramartha drishti, correct? That is in reality, you are not connected to anything at all. Because as I told you, the waking individuality we take too seriously. But that is not your very nature because you don't retain it. The waking individuality is not there in dream. Dream individuality is not there in waking. Both of them are not there in deep sleep. The only thing which is always there is that you are a conscious being. So that alone can be my nature. That alone is my reality. Whatever comes and goes is only transient. And in fact, that also is an object of my cognition. How can I take myself as something which I am cognizing, correct? But that is the adhyasa which Bhashyakara talks about, correct? That is where everything starts. That is the ajnanam, that mixing up of I and this is the root cause of everything. So with reference to that, also now the Upanishad is saying that even in Jagrat, you are asangaha only. Tad etad uchyate. What is that? Sava yesha etasmin buddhante ratva charitva drishtva punyam cha papam cha na punah pratinyayam pratiyonyadravati swapnantaya eva. So now again from swapna you have come to buddhanta, which is waking. And in the waking now, buddhante, sa purushaha, the same purusha only. Etasmin buddhante, in this waking state, again waking state also, you are enjoying, you are roaming around. But in reality, you are experiencing your own papa and punya. Drishtva eva punyancha papancha punaha pratinyayam pratiyoni adravati, means again you go in the order in which you came. You go back to either dream or deep sleep. So swapnantaya means Bhashyakara says either you can take it as swapna avastha, or since this anta is added, you can take it as deep sleep also. Whichever way you take it is fine. The meaning, whatever the teaching which is conveyed doesn't change. So basically, the Upanishad is saying even in the waking state also, really you are not a karta bhokta, you are unattached, you are asangaha only, asango hi ayam purushaha. That is the truth. So now here, let us see the Bhashya. Savai yeshaha etasmin buddhante jagarite ratva charitva ityadi purvavat. So again, the meaning for all these things we have seen, correct? Ratva charitva drishtva punyancha papancha. Only thing is here buddhante. Instead of swapna, it is jagarita. This waking state. So again here, sayat tatra buddhante kinchit pashyati ananva gataha tena bhavati. This Bhashyakara is supplying. Okay. Because it was already said here, ananva gataha and all, with reference to the swapna. But we have to connect it here also. Means even from waking, when you go into sleep, you don't take anything from the waking world into the dream world, correct? Or in the sleep also. You may be very, very hungry in waking. Once you go into dream, the waking hunger doesn't matter. Or you may be very hungry in the dream, you cannot eat for that in the waking. Those two are unconnected. Or if you go into deep sleep also, you don't feel anything. Whatever happened in the waking remains there. Whether you are a beggar or a king, the sleep state is the same for everybody. It doesn't matter. So, that ananvagataha, you don't carry anything from the waking also into the other states, correct? It remains in that state only, in the waking itself. Therefore, what? Asango hi ayam purushaha iti. So, this part, Bhashyakara adds, ananvagataha tena bhavati, asango hi ayam purushaha, that we have to understand after this. Okay, punah pratinyayam pratiyoni adravati, swapnantaya, when it is said, this you have to add yourself like previously and understand that even whatever you are in the waking also, it is similar to how it was in dream, and you don't take anything from waking into the other states. Now again there is a question, nanu drishtva eva iti katham avadharyate. So how can you say that you don't really do anything in waking, you are only seeing or experiencing your punya and papa? Karoti chat tatra punya pape. So now the doubt is that we do it in the waking. We are, in fact, the entire Shastra Vyavahara, Laukika Vyavahara and all is based on the idea that you are a Karta, you are a Bhokta. The Karma Phala is for the Bhokta only. So, and Punya Papa is for the Bhokta. So, you are doing in the waking only, you are a Karta, Tat Phalancha Pashyati. So, that Phala of whatever you are doing, you experience, you see it. Therefore, how can you say that only you are seeing or only you are experiencing and you are not doing anything, you are unconnected and all that, asangaha and all that, means Bhashyakara explains, means no, you cannot say that you are a karta bhokta. Why? And even if it is said that yatha kamam and all, it was said, correct? So how can you say that? Means he says karaka avabhasakatvena kartritva upapatte. So you are not really a karta. The kartritvam is only because the same Chaitanya only is lighting up all the factors of action, all the karakas, whether it is kartri karaka, karma karaka, karana karaka, like all that. If you have studied Sanskrita grammar, we have all these vibhaktis associated with different factors of action, correct? The prathama, normally in active voice, the prathama vibhakti is the karta. The dvitiya is the object of action, karma. Tritiya will be karana. Then chaturthi is sampradhanam, we say, for the purpose or for whom you are doing something, that is called sampradhana. Then apadana means from where the action originates. That is fifth case. Then saptami, seventh case is this locative, correct? Wherever it is happening, where the action is happening, that location is the seventh case. Sixth case is only relationship between two nouns. So it is not a karaka really. So like this, there are so many karakas are there, means factors of action or whatever is associated with action. All those things are lighted up by this Chaitanyam only. So karaka avabhasakatvena kartritva upapatte means the kartritvam is only said with reference to the fact that in the presence of this Chaitanya only all the karakas are active. Okay. By itself the Atma is asangaha. And that was said by already in the 436 itself, correct? Atmana eva ayam jyotisha aste palyayate and all that. So by the light of this Atma alone, this Dehadi Sanghata is there, correct? The Karya Karna Sanghata, the body mind sense complex, its activities are happening in the presence of or in the light of this Atma Jyotis. But that doesn't mean Atma itself is the Karta. That's what one has to understand. So Atmana eva ayam jyotisha aste ityadina Atma Jyotisha avabhasitaha Karya Karna Sanghataha Vyavaharati. So the Vyavahara, all the activity is only with reference to the body mind sense complex. Mind is active means thoughts are there. Then all the physiological processes are happening means prana is active. Then physical body also is active. Some karma is happening. All these things are happening. When? Only due to the light of this Chaitanya being there. But the Chaitanya itself is merely a witness or it is just there, correct? It is only lighting up. All these activities are taking place in the presence of that. Like even in the presence of a magnet, this analogy is given many times, even traditionally, that in the presence of a magnet, the iron filings and all, they may move around and all that. But you cannot attribute any kartritvam to the magnet. Or we can even say, even in the presence of the sun, correct? All the activities are happening in the world. The lotus blooms, but you cannot attribute any kartritvam to the sun for that, correct? Sun is shining because it's its very nature, that's all. Or even Agni, if you put your finger into the Agni, it will burn. But if you ask the Agni, did you burn me? Agni doesn't have kartritvam. Its very nature is that it is hot, it is burning. If you put your hand into that, you are only responsible for that, correct? Agni did not burn you. You burnt yourself basically. It doesn't have any kartritvam like that because its very nature is that. So like that, all this vyavahara, even in the Gita it is said, correct? Guna guneshu vartante, ahankara vimudhatma kartahamiti manyate and all that Bhagavan says. So only the gunas are acting amongst themselves, but the ahankara thinks that I am the doer. That is where that mixing up happens. All the confusion starts. So the Karya Karna Sanghata, it is this complex does all the activities in the presence of the Atma Jyotis. Therefore, what tena asya kartritvam upacharyate. So it is only figuratively used that this Atma is a karta, is only a figurative usage. It, like saying that the sun made the lotus bloom, let us say. Sun. There is no kartritvam for the sun if the lotus blooms in the presence of the sun, correct? But we can say figuratively that the sun rose and made all the lotus to bloom, like that. So, kartritvam upacharyate na swataha kartritvam, by its very nature, by itself, it doesn't have any kartritva. And this was also explicitly said in 437, tatacha uktam dhyayati iva, lelayati iva. So when the Atma became the Vijnana Mayaha, and then only it started going between these two lokas or these two states and all that. But there also it was said, dhyayati iva, as though it thinks, as though it plays, as though it acts. Correct? The iva kara is very important. Dhyayati iva, lelayati iva iti. So, buddhyadi upadhi kritam eva na swataha. So, all action, all kartritvam, bhoktritvam are all only at the buddhi and manas and prana and indriya and the deha. So, only due to all these upadhis only, this kartritvam is attributed to the Atma. By itself, it does not have any kartritvam. Buddhyadi upadhi kritam eva. It is all only due to the conditioning factors. By itself, nothing is there in Atma. But here, what is the teaching? The teaching here is not from the Vyavahara Drishti. So, Bhashyakara makes that clear also. So, these two standpoints one has to understand very clearly. Correct? See, like I said, there is a elephant statue, very, very, as though it's a real elephant, it has been made, correct, and painted and all that. Looks like a real elephant. But it's really wood only. But if you see it as elephant and really take that it is a real elephant, then you want to run away from there because they have made a mad elephant. The sculpture is of a mad elephant. It is about to attack you. Okay, it is like that. It is lifting its trunk and all that. It is ready to grab you. Something like that. So if you look at it as elephant, then you are ready to run away. That is the samsara we are talking about. But even when the elephant is still there, if you look at it as wood, means your standpoint is totally changed. If you see the wood, in the woodness, there is no elephantness or anything, correct? In your knowledge of woodness or in the knowledge of wood, there is no elephantness. In fact, in the knowledge of elephant, there is no woodness. If you take it as a real elephant, the wood is covered. But you don't have to break the elephant or anything. Understand that. It is purely a cognitive change. In your appreciation that it is a wood, if you look at it as wood, in the wood there is no elephant. Elephant has vanished now. You don't have to dismantle the elephant sculpture to understand that it is wood, correct? Right? That's what Pujya Swamiji used to say. See, for us, thought itself is not a problem. Of course, you should have a mind which is calm and you are able to focus on the teaching, contemplate on that and assimilate the teaching. But our goal as a Vedantin is not to stop the mind, lighten the mind. A lightened mind necessarily is not an enlightened mind. He used to say that. Okay. An enlightened mind sees the Chaitanya only everywhere, whether even the thought, every cognition resolves only into yourself, correct? Which is Nirvikalpa, really. So, Aham Nirvikalpaha iti Jnanam is more important for us than remaining in a thoughtless state, which can be called as a Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Of course, to achieve such a state and all, it helps you to assimilate this knowledge. But just achieving that state itself is not our goal. So our goal is to assimilate this knowledge that aham nirvikalpaha. Every pratibodha viditam matam means each and every cognition, I am the subject, I am the object, I am the knowledge which is taking place. Everything is me. That's how we have to understand. I am in and through everything. all these variations are like elephant. But in reality, once I understand myself as this Chaitanyam, only Chaitanyam alone is there. All the other things are not there really. They do not count. In fact, it's all mithya. So the Paramartha Drishtya, Ahameva Sarvam, Sarvatma Bhava is that only. I am the self of all. I alone am there. There is nothing other than me. And that is the Drishti. That is the Jnana Drishti. But the Jnana Drishti is only a change in standpoint. Understand that. That doesn't mean the world has to vanish or anything. I do not have to stop all my thoughts. I don't have to stop the cognition of the worldly objects and all that. But you just see yourself in everything. Whatever you cognize, nothing is away from you really, correct? And you are not in space-time. Space-time is in you. That is the knowledge we are talking about. Therefore, swataha na kartritvam. Correct? Everything is only upadhikritam. So here he says, ihatu paramartha apekshaya upadhi nirapekshaha uchyate. So here, whatever the teaching is, Yajnavalkya is now teaching Janaka about the Paramartha Satya. So in reality, the ultimate reality is what? Paramartha Apekshya. So with reference to the Paramartha Drishti, where there is no Upadhi, we are now trying to reveal the Atma as it is, unconditioned by any conditioning factors. And what is that? Drishtva eva punyancha papamcha na kritva iti. So even here, you don't do anything, even in waking, you are not karta, you are not bhokta. You are as though only doing, as though experiencing. Therefore, what? You don't do anything really. Tena na purva apara vyaghata ashanka yasmat nirupadhikaha paramarthataha na karoti na lipyate kriya phalena. So, therefore, from this, what we understand that there is a vyaghata means contradiction. You cannot say that previously you said yatha kamam, it is connected to karma and all that. Now you are saying you don't do anything. Is it not contradictory? Means that is why the standpoint difference is very important. If you don't understand the difference in the standpoint, it will look contradictory. But once you understand that it is a totally different standpoint, once you see the wood, there is no elephant there, correct? You cannot say, how did you see the elephant before? Why were you afraid of the elephant and all that? Once you have seen the wood, all those questions are irrelevant. They are not even valid questions. Understand that. So in the Paramartha Drishti, none of the Vyavahara related questions are even valid. They are all invalid, in fact. You don't have to answer anything, really speaking. Once you have understood the Paramartha, once you have understood the reality as it is, there is no scope of any questions only. So you cannot say there is a Vyaghata dosha is there, contradiction is there. Whatever you said before is one thing, later on you are saying something else. All these things you cannot say. Therefore what? Because, why? Because yasmat nirupadikaha paramarthataha na karoti, without any conditioning factor, not being conditioned by anything. In reality, the Atma does not do anything. Na karoti, na lipyate. It is not connected to any karma phala also. Kriya phalena na lipyate. It is not a karta, it is not a bhokta. Kartritvam, bhoktritvam are all only with reference to the antakarana. Or if you want to use the all this kosha means it is all like manomaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha, anandamaya kosha. It's all only at the kosha level. Atma itself is free. It is only koshavat achadaniyat koshaha, it is said, correct? It covers the self, the real nature of self, as though like a covering. That's why the kosha means basically a covering. So it is called a kosha, but those are all only the kosha dharma. It's not really the Atma's qualities or anything. So upadhi nirapekshaha uchyate. So it is not connected to any upadhi. That is the paramartha drishti. Na lipyate kriya palena. And Bhagavan also says the same thing in the Gita. Tathacha Bhagavata Uktam. In fact, the entire Greek Gita Right from the second chapter only Bhagavan says, okay, Naghatayati Hantikam, all that is there, correct? This Atma does not make anybody to kill. Killing is a very extreme action, correct? It's like a Prathama Mallanyaya. The Atma cannot be killed, nor it is a killer, nor does it make anybody to kill anybody else and all that. So there is no the causal usage also you cannot put on Atma. So Atma may not do anything by itself, but why cannot it cause somebody else to do something? Means even that Bhagavan negates that. So Atma is neither a karta nor a karayita. It doesn't make anybody else do also. Like if you see many times any Vaidika karma we want to do, we are not Vaidikas. We have not undergone the Veda Dhyanam and all that. So what do? We hire a Vaidika, we give Dakshina and all that, and then on our behalf, the Vaidika is doing the karma. So does Atma do anything like that? Means Atma is not a Karayita also. Na karta, na Karayita, and na karma also it is not. It is not an object of action because it is aprameya. Correct? It can never be objectified. It is never an object of cognition. So then it cannot become an object of any action. That's why later on Bhagavan will say Achedyoyam, Adahyoyam, Akledyo, Shoshayevacha, Nitya Sarvagata Sthanuhu, Achaloyam Sanatanaha. Like that, this Atma Swarupa is always revealed as Akarta, Bhokta only by Bhagavan. That he does in the second day. Straight away he starts the teaching with that only. Okay, by showing the Atma Swarupa, and then he says, even if you take it by the Vyavahara Drishti, the Swarga Dwara is open for you. Okay, like that. So, but in 13th chapter also Bhagavan says the same thing. What? Anaditvat nirgunatvat paramatmayam avyayaha sharirasthopi kaunteya karoti na lipyate. So here Bhashyakara has taken this quotation beautifully because the sharirasthaha is there here, correct? But even there it was said Dehi Nityam Avadhyoyam Dehe Sarvasya Bharata. The Dehi Sharirasthaha and Navadvare Pure Dehi Naiva Kurvanna Karayan. This comes in the 5th chapter. So in many places you can see the same teaching in the Bhagavad Gita also. So Bhashyakara is quoting here. So this Atma is Anadi, beginningless, and it is Nirguna. It doesn't have any qualities. And it is Paramatma, Avyayaha. It is indeclinable, it doesn't change. It is changeless, invariable in each and every cognition. And it is the Atma of all, Paramatma, even though it is available in the Sharira, correct? Sharirasthaha, Ekaunteya, but does not do anything really. You take it as Karta Bhokta, that is your Ajnana. This is the ignorance. In reality, it doesn't do anything. Na karyoti, na lipyate also. It is not touched by anything. It is asangaha. So Bhagavan teaches the same thing in the Gita to Arjuna. So now karma praviveka was said before. He gave 1,000 cows. Now for kama praviveka. So the Atma is not connected to any kama or any, doesn't have any bhoktritvam also. So Bhashyakara says, Tata sahasra dhanam tu kama pravivekasya darshitatva. That Atma is not subjected to any kama and all that. Those whatever yatha kamam and all which was said is only vyavahara drishtya or from upadhi drishti. Paramarthataha Atma is asangaha, asango hi ayam purushaha. This was taught now. Now for this purpose, 1,000 cows were given to Yajnavalkya. Further what? Tatha Sava yesha etasmin swapne, Sava yesha etasmin buddhante etebhyam kandikabhyam asangata eva pratipadita. So both in this, see in the 14th also it was there, correct? Sava yesha etasmin samprasade, and all this was there. And then etasmin swapne and etasmin buddhante. All these things if you take in this, what was taught? Iti etebhyam, particularly the last two, in these two kandas, asangata eva. Kandika means you can take it as a paragraph or whatever, or a sentence. This Atma is asanga. This was revealed, okay, in both dream and sleep, in waking. Of course, in sleep, it is now you are not conscious of anything anyway. So it is asanga. Yasmat buddhante kritena swapnantam gataha samprasannaha asambaddaha bhavati. Okay. Stainyadi karya adarshana. So, because because the doubt can be there, particularly with reference to waking. So, Bhashyakara says, because even in the waking, whatever you do, correct, then you go into swapna or into sleep, you are not connected to any of the things you did there. You could have done some theft, stainyadi karya means some crime, criminal activity. Even if you do, those things are not seen in the other states. Whatever you did in the waking is there only. You don't carry it there. Therefore, what? Tasmat trishu api sthaneshu swataha asangaha eva yam. Therefore, what do you understand? The real nature of this Atma in all three states, it is unconnected, it is asangaha. That is its real nature. That's what one has to understand from all this analysis here, this vichara. Asangohi ayam purushaha. Therefore, you are amritaha because you are not touched by even space-time. If you are not touched by space-time, you are not a mortal anymore. Understand that. Only if you are in space-time, you can be mortal. But you are free from space-time also. You are not connected to space-time also. You are not an entity in space-time. This is the fundamental mistake which causes all problems in you. But you are the one in whom space-time appears. And you transcend space-time, whether it is dream space-time, waking space-time. All space-time you transcend. In fact, understanding the transcending of dream space-time, you understand very easily. But it is just one step further, correct? Because the waking space-time is not there in dream space-time. It is replaced. Therefore, the waking space-time also is no better than dream space-time. Both of them are not there in sleep anyway, but I am the only invariable throughout. So I am this infinite, limitless conscious being in whom all these things are appearing, and I transcend all these things. I am not limited by any of these things. That is the drishti. That is the jnana drishti. So trishu api sthaneshu swataha asangaha evayam ataha amritaha sthanatraya dharma vilakshanaha means any dharma which you associate yourself. Even we say that even in deep sleep there is ajnana is there bija, because of which you get up again as the waker and all that. Even that you are not connected to any of that really. Ajnana also is only an object of your cognition. It is sakshi bhasya. Okay, you know your own ignorance. You know your knowledge also. That's why you are neither knowledgeable nor ignorant. Understand that you are just a conscious being to whom both knowledge and ignorance becomes evident. So that is you. Dharma sthanatraya dharma vilakshana. You are devoid of any qualities from all the three states. Prati yoni adravati swapnantaya eva samprasadaya ityarthaha. So here Bhashyakara takes, see, finally, Prati yoni adravati swapnantaya eva is there. So for that he is taking the meaning as samprasadaya. You come back to the sleep state only. Why? Because darshana vrittehe swapnasya swapna shabdena abhidhana darshana. So already swapna was talked about here, correct? Swapne and all that. So the swapna shabda, we take it as the swapna avastha means. So the swapna shabda already indicated that you saw something in the swapna and all that. Darshana vritti also is there. In swapna you see something really. But anta shabda means that darshana also has ended now. Let us take, correct? You don't see anything. The swapna has also ended and you don't see anything means you have gone into deep sleep. Therefore, I'll take it as samprasada only, like this Bhashyakara says. So, anta shabdena cha visheshana upavatte. So, from that, specifically we can take that this is swapna anta means here it is deep sleep. So, he is also giving some quotation for that later on. Etasma antaya dhavati iti cha shushuptam darshayishyati. So, one identified with all these dreams and all that you go into this. There is in the 4:319 it is said, correct? So you are first there in dream, and then dhavati means literally you are running towards your sleep, it says. Okay, so you run after seeing everything in the dream, you go towards your deep sleep. But you can also argue that it is not deep sleep, or it is just swapna avastha only. So he says, स्वप्नान्ताय एव इत्यत्रापि दर्शनवृत्तिः एव स्वप्नः उच्यते इति. So by saying swapnanta also, you can take it as only that still the sight is there. That is in the swapna, you are seeing something that is referred to as swapnanta within the swapna. Okay. And therefore, tathapi na kinchit dushyati means even that is not, there is no defect in taking it as swapna avastha also. That from waking again you have gone back into swapna in the inverse order. So asangata, whichever way you take what, we have to understand that Atma is asanga. So Bhashyakara says, asangata hi sishadhaishita siddhyati eva. Sishadhaishita means basically a desire to teach. Okay. So the shiksha and all we say, correct? Sishadhaishita means the desire to teach. Is what is the desire to teach? What do we want to really teach you? We want to teach you that you are asanga. That is accomplished whether you take it as swapna or deep sleep. Therefore, what? Yasmat jagarite drishtva eva punyancha papancha ratva charitva cha swapnantam agataha. So having seen and having experienced the punya and papa phala and roaming around and enjoying and all that, you again from waking you come back into swapna or deep sleep. Therefore, what? Na jagarita dosha doshena anugataha bhavati. So ananvagataha also we have to understand. So you do not bring all the defects or doshas from the waking state into the other state. It remains there only. So from this we understand that nothing sticks to you really. Whatever is in that state remains there only, and you have crossed over. Whatever is the invariable and always there, which is your nature, is that you are a conscious being. That alone is the truth. That's what one has to understand. Again, there is an introduction to the next Vakya. This we will see next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवादः गुरुजी.